Going live. This is literally what happened yesterday at Paint and Sip. It would say setting up your meeting for Facebook Live, and then it wouldn't. So there's no telling what the Facebook world is gonna give us today.
Yeah, yesterday it gave you a wet fart in the face. But today we're hopeful. Maybe it'll be silent but deadly.
No. A wet fart in the face, man. That is no.
Welcome to Wednesday.
Welcome to Hump Day. Oh man, it feels like I don't know. I used to be a real big fan of Wednesdays, and now I'm like, wait, it's just we're only halfway there.
Maybe it'll be silent but deadly.
We're only halfway there. But we are halfway there.
Halfway to what? What are we halfway toward anymore? Like what is time? Where are we?
Every day is a joy.
Every day is a joy. I'm thankful that we are healthy and that we're here and that we're happy and that I can make fart jokes with you live on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I just think that it's important to wake up, get ready for the day, get dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's more, I keep on saying this, like it's more important than ever before. I mean, it was pretty important to get up and choose to be excited and happy and moving right along. Ugh, it's hard though.
On the bright side, bras are kind of optional now, more than ever.
Yeah, bras are, I mean, do you want to hear like true story? I really don't wear a bra anymore. I just wear like camis with the bra inside, that's what I have on right now. It's not, it's like what, it's actually, this is so embarrassing. It's actually a nursing bra. Am I nursing? No, not at all. But fuck it, you know?
Listen, ain't no judgment here.
I haven't let myself go completely.
Wait, I have a question. What? So when you don't wear underwear, they call it commando. What did they call it when you don't wear a bra? Whoever they are.
Who are they, first of all? And second of all, I don't know. I think that that's something we'll have to come to some conclusions about. That'll be one of those things that we'll have to think on for a couple of days.
Perhaps we should do a poll.
Yeah, if anyone knows what you call it when you go without a bra, you let us know.
Yeah.
Free fallen.
Educate us.
Educate us on what this thing is called. So, well, what's happening in your day to day besides like, life with mom?
Oh yes.
Are you helping out a lot, like more than you like anymore? I mean, I get you were helping out to begin with, so it's like, what more can you possibly do?
What has been kind of nice is that I am cooking a lot more at home, which I love, and I call it like Italian grandmother style of cooking, even though I'm neither Italian nor Italian. So it's kind of fun to be able to throw things together from the pantry and like use up some veggies and like. I don't know. I do miss palate food, and I definitely ate a biscuit for breakfast from our fro-y'all. But It is nice to like just be able to say, I would like to make a soup right now.
Yeah, well, that's really awesome of you. I really do not feel confident in the kitchen. I'm not really ecstatic to. It's like once I'm cooking, like if I have all the ingredients and all the materials and like a recipe and it's all very like spelled out for me, I'm fine with it. And then like while I'm cooking, I'm like, wow, this is super fun and I feel good. And it's also kind of like the same experience I had last night with Paint and Sip. I did a live Paint and Sip class for one of our, we did the paint kits, like the pickup paint, curbside pickup for the paint kits, and I was like, I'm just gonna go live at 7 p.m. and teach this painting. It was Adirondack Sunset, which, as you know, was like one of the originals. And I haven't painted in so long, and I haven't been in the studio in so long, because I've just been focused on having a baby and a family and palette And but it was just so nice to be in that element again, and painting, it really is so therapeutic and forces you to just decompress and relax and chill the fuck out.
I have to say, I don't know if everybody watching this out there, all 500 people who are watching this live,
Yeah.
know this. You and I initially met because you hired me to be one of your teaching artists at Sunset.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I have painted Adirondack Sunset at least 1,000 times.
I know. Well, it's one of those paintings. It's like, it looks really beautiful and it's very difficult to screw it up, and it's really simple. And so I think, I mean, obviously we are in the Adirondack, so it's super popular, and landscapes are always the most popular because people basically want to be Bob Ross at the end of the day.
Don't we though? You're right.
I love him. I was like pulling out all the Bob Ross quotes, like, no, there are no accidents. Like, or no, there are no mistakes, just happy accidents. Yeah, that one's a good one. And like, if you screw up something, just like make it a bird, or paint a tree over it.
So I have a funny story. One of my most embarrassing moments ever was while teaching a paint and sip class.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I'm like no shame Sally. Like I've got none. I've done so many embarrassing things. And I mean, I'm not that embarrassed, but I think it's so funny. So I was teaching this painting, and it was like a winter scene with like a stream and some trees and grasses and 2 rabbits. So I'm like, okay, we got the background, everything looks so good. So everybody take your paintbrush. We're going to draw some circles here with some light colored paint. And then we're going to add the heads and the ears and like fill it all in. And I realized after putting the 2 big body circles in and then doing the head on one, that no matter where I put the head on the second one, the bunnies were doing it. They were like getting busy. And so I'm like, oh my God, how do I recover and make it look like I didn't just show rabbits being rabbits and like making more rabbits in front of 40 people. So I was like, okay, don't do that. Make them farther apart. I'm like trying to recover, but I was like mortified because I'm like, literally, I just painted rabbits having sex on this canvas forever. And all these people watched it and like, how? I'm like so red. I was dying.
One of my favorite stories is actually of another funny redhead, Catherine, and she has since like moved off to Connecticut, and she's now headlining for like comedy shows now. But I was dying laughing when she first started. She was just like a trip, just super funny, and she's like painting, and like in the studio, it's kind of like your back is to some people. And this guy, so it's always predominantly mostly women in paint and sip. And there's always like one token dude that was dragged there by his girlfriend or, wife or something. And he was sitting near the bar, and Catherine's back was like to him, and she was kind of blocking the canvas. Like, I get it. And she's at the time, she was a bigger girl. She's like totally different person now. She's lost like, I think 180 pounds. And anyway, that's irrelevant. She was standing in the way of the canvas, and he's like, excuse me, can you move so I can see the canvas? And she like spun around. She was like, listen, I know that I could use some squats, okay? And I know that I'm taking up a large amount of the stage right now, but let's just face it, the only time I'm gonna squat is for a tater tot, and we don't see tater tots around here. And his entire face just like turned beet red, and he was so embarrassed, but we laughed it all off because it was just hilarious. And she, it's just like, that's the kind of atmosphere that Paint and Sip is. It's like super fun, and everyone's like going at the same painting together with no idea what we're doing. And it's so like, anyway, she basically parlayed that entire like side gig of working at Paint and Sip and turned it into a comedian, like a show. Like she started doing like stand-up comedy, like what are those things called? Open mic nights.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yes. And so like she like ran with it and she's doing so freaking awesome. On Facebook, her name's, I think it's Ham Clancy. And she's just got her own show and she's just killing it. It's so cool to see. But anyway, yeah, so we did it last night. And so I think we're gonna keep doing it because it was super fun for me to like be back in the studio. It was weird to be by myself. It was like there was no music, so it was just me and the computer talk. I don't know. It's just it's a new world that we live in. So we're just going with it. Yeah, so let me see if there's any comments from anybody. Hey Tanya and Sarah, he is here. Hey Mom, Mom's here.
Hey Mom.
And Phil is here. And
Hey,
like, let's do a little shout out to Phil and Jill, who are like falling on the floor at Palette. And Jen White and Mary Jo, hello, and Jess Lang. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see everyone. I mean, like, I'm happy that they're at least seeing me. Seeing. Yeah. So tell me how your magic shows are going. Your magic with Matt. You can take it from here.
Magic with Marcella. Well, last night was the full moon, and I had a special guest, Gabriella Capibianco, and she was like, excuse me, Goldine. I'm so sorry. She forgets she can't speak English and no one can understand her. So Gabby so I'm a witch and I have my own full moon spell that like some of you have probably heard before, and I love it. But I wanted to learn a new full moon spell. And so she did this like brand new full moon spell. It was like pretty cool. It was neat.
Okay, so tell me more about this magic shit, because it's like when it's a full moon, like just the universe is like feeling.
It wants you to release like a fart. Everything inside of you.
Everything goes back to farts.
Doesn't it though? So the full moon, like the cycles of the moon are something that is like important to all of us as human beings, like especially women. And if you talk to anyone in the medical profession, that is a big time when like the emergency rooms fill up with people doing dumb things. And like we've all been in the world. We know when it's a full moon. So the full moon energy, that's supposed to be your time to release the things that like, are keeping up at night. And then the new moon is when there's no moon visible in the sky. That is supposed to be when you like set intentions for future growth. So the full moon is like let that go, and the new moon is when you try and manifest and set intentions and all of that stuff.
So is it?
It doesn't sound like the full moon was last night.
Okay, so tonight is a new moon.
The new moon is like not for a couple weeks, because like the full moon is like big and then it has to like shrink back to nothing and then it gets big again.
Okay, gotcha. So what kind of spell did you freeze anyone last night?
No, I didn't freeze anybody last night.
That's nice.
Yeah, I know that I save only for very special people who I want to remove from my life kindly with ice.
Sometimes ice. Sometimes. I actually like the let go spell. I don't know if that's what it's called, but it's like when you tie something around your wrist and then when it falls away, you're like, phew, done with that. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person too. It could be just like an issue.
It could absolutely be an issue. And the full moon spell that I typically do is that sort of same way where you tie a thread around your wrist and then when it falls off, everything goes off. It's not like you just snap a finger and like suddenly some anxiety or like a person who has been causing you stress, they don't just disappear out of your life. But what you can do is eliminate the hold that emotion or person has on you with magic. But really it's just manifestation. So I mean, I am kind of a witch, but at the same time, like there's nothing really magic about magic. My middle name is not Merlin. I don't have a cauldron really, so, and it's not like I like go out on the full moon and I put like my fairy robes on and go spin around in a circle and like fly away on my broom usually. So it's
well,
not.
You know, a lot of it is just like so call it what you will, right? Mm-hmm. Some people meditate, some people pray, some people exercise, some people, like, I can remember, I used to work out and go to the boxing gym, and it's just like a lot of that would, like, that while I was working out, I wasn't always thinking about like the punching of the bag. I was sometimes picturing someone or a thing or an issue, and it's like that's also a form of just like dispelling energy that you do not need in your life anymore. And it's just, what is it that you're doing to do that? Well, you just do magic. So I think that's why you're sharing it with us, because it's just like your rendition. And I love that. I think that we all need to be like trying new things and sharing what it is that we do to get through this thing called life.
It's so true. And I love that you brought up exercise, because like, talk about a magic bullet. That is absolutely something that every single one of us knows the power of. And you and I both used to run a lot. You did a marathon. I like stumbled through one, but used to love it. But the mental state that you're able to get into when you're doing a long run, if you talk to runners, they're like a secret society of like people who always talk about this. And it's because it's real.
Guess who I'm talking to today? Kristen.
She's like my hero. I love her.
Yeah, I'm super excited to catch up with her. She's a runner. But anyway, side note, I'm not a runner. I literally...
Yeah, you only did one marathon. You're not a runner.
I did one marathon. It was like, I don't think I'll ever run a marathon again. It was so hard. It was like, it was a challenge, and I made the decision that I wanted to be able to say that I freaking did that. And so on April 1st, and I was like in a different mindset. I was like, I really needed something to take my focus off of what I was feeling at the time, like stress and anxiety. And Posey was about 6 months-ish, 7, 8 months maybe, when I signed up for that marathon. It was April 1st, 2015. And I was just in like, I had 3 studios. One was in Burlington. I just opened the Burlington studio that January. And then April 1st, I was like, you know what? I'm going to run a marathon, because I just felt like I needed to dig into something else to kind of like occupy my mind. And it was actually really, really stupid the way that I did it. I wasn't a runner. I signed up for a marathon, the New York City Marathon, and I gave myself 6 months to train, which is just really not the right move. I mean, it's hard on your body. It's really stress, it was just stupid. But I was like determined, and yeah, I finished it. But I'm certainly not like one of these people. I'm not a runner. Like I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the training. I didn't enjoy the discipline, any of that. I really enjoy crossing the finish line.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's okay to just love it when it's over.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Well, you know me very well at this point. It's like, that's a lot of, it's a window into how I operate. Like, I just, power through stuff, and I get to check the box off at the end, and I get to cross the finish line, or I get to cut the ribbon, and then I'm like on to the next thing. And I think that is very common for, serial marathoners or serial entrepreneurs or serial, artists too. Like, you get through a show, it's, if you create a collection of artwork and you get through it and you show it and then it's over, it's not just over. You start something new. The idea would be to sell those pieces and then move on to the next show. I mean, the next project. And I just think like that's not unusual. I think it's quite common for people who are really passionate about how they're living their lives and what they're doing.
Absolutely.
I totally commandeered that convo.
No, I have a question for you though. So I want you to think like, so for me, I hated marathon training. I absolutely hated it. I loved running for so long, and I've kind of since stopped running as much just due to injuries and fear of getting re-injured, which I will get over. But I found that as a runner, some of the funniest things that I've ever experienced and done happened while running. And one in particular, while I was marathon training, I had like the funniest experience ever and laughed. So I still like die laughing thinking about it. Did you have like a funniest experience or like anything memorable while training that like you can look back on and it makes you laugh? Because I got a good one. I got a lot.
I mean, not off the top of my head. I mean, like I said, I really didn't embrace the training piece of it. I was just like a different, I don't know. I feel like I have evolved quite since then. And I just feel like I really didn't give myself the opportunity to like really enjoy the thing. You know, like I got it done. And that was, that's like all I could think about was like, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done. It's going to be done. And then next, and then, you know, and I think that that's stupid. I think that I should have focused more on like, what am I going to experience? I think maybe I saw Gopher once or something, but honestly, the actual marathon was so much fun and I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was the New York City Marathon. I mean, it was the most incredible experience just to be amongst so many different people, like different types of people. They were all speaking different languages and it was so much freaking fun. And what was really cool about it was that, okay, so I signed up as I signed up for a Team for Kids because I didn't qualify to be in it. So I had to sign up as a fundraiser. So I raised money and we had two other friends of ours that just signed up for the lottery and they got it. So, you know, the night before the marathon, we went to have dinner with all them. And actually the day of the marathon, you can like track yourself on your phone. And I was tracking both of them. And I could see that my friend Chad was like, you know, we had the same start time. And I was like, wow, I wonder, I might see him when all the like races or courses emerge like at mile 8. And I was like, I wonder if I might see him. And I was like, then I started telling myself, there's no way in hell I'm going to see Chad. He's like a faster runner than I am. And like, he's like way ahead of me. And he actually videotaped me running up on me. Like he actually, he found me, or I don't know if he found me, but he recognized me running. And it was actually really good timing because I was like about to be like, what have I done? I am in the thick of this. And like, I don't know what I was thinking I could do this, you know? Anyway, he videotaped me running up behind him and coming around and being like, hey, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then of course he passed me up yeah. And he finished like an hour before me or something like that. But it was cool to see him on the course. And then there was another guy that I met along the race, like just randomly. And then I met up with him, not on purpose, just organically met up with him again at the end. So that whole experience I really enjoyed, but the actual training of it, no.
It's hard. But, you know, it's funny because like I think that going into a marathon slightly unprepared is really good training for an entrepreneur, because there's no way you can expect everything that can go wrong, and you meet people along the way. Like when I did my marathon, it was like a freaking shit show. And
did you do Disney one? In August.
No, in January.
Oh,
but it felt like I was walking on the sun. And like, look at me, like I got freckles. Like I was completely uncomfortable, and it was like so hot, and everyone was so happy, and I was like, hate it. I'm like, get away from me, Donald Duck. Get away from me, Chip and Dale. Like, beat it. I hate you all. It's so loud here. It's so hot. And I like the thing about Disney is that you have to have a certain speed or they come and pick you up in like the loser truck.
They do not.
They scoop you up and they're like, you're not going fast enough. You're done. And they pull you off the course. And so like, obviously I'm not running like 8-minute miles here, like ever in my life. So the whole, like from like mile 15 on, I was like running away from the loser truck. And by mile 20, every time I took a step, because it was so hot, I was dehydrated, my quads were cramping. And I remember like I was like running very slowly, and so it was like, girl, you're still trying to run? I'm like, yes. I'm like, yes, I am.
Yeah,
But
no.
actually, like I randomly met up with this girl, and we were almost exactly the same age, and we ended up finishing the race together, and we're Facebook friends for like ever. But we were like partners in suffering. But yeah, man, they like scoop people up. I was like running from the goons in the van. I'm like, you ain't getting it.
Whatever you have to tell yourself, right? Like whatever you have to do to get through it. I mean, just like do it.
I was like, I don't know who's driving that van. I am not getting in it. I got to go fast.
Not even just, am I going to get in a creeper looking van?
Right. Oh, so then my other favorite part was when you finally finish, you get the medal. And whoever designed the medal the year that I did it, it was like 2 pieces. And so it was like the big main piece and then a little thing hanging underneath it. So they put like the blanket over you. I remember like I was to take us back to like the resort, the hotel. And we're like all walking so slowly, and it sounded like a herd of cattle with their bells like. I was like looking around. I'm like, this is my life. Like here I am. So those are my lovely memories from my marathon that really hurt.
And like, are you like a one and doneer? Because I am.
I will never run a full marathon again. Since I did a half marathon after that, I did the Nike Women's Half Marathon in San Francisco, and it was one of my favorite races I've ever.
What did you say?
The Nike Women's Half Marathon. What did you think I said?
Well, I thought you said naked women, and then you said San Francisco, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. But you don't seem like the type that would sign up for that.
I mean, you never know. It's a very open society out there.
No, I thought that's why I didn't think anything of it when you said.
You're like, okay, I'm sorry, I never talked about that one.
That's something that San Francisco would do.
I did witness the World Naked Bike Ride in San Francisco. Yeah.
Oh my God. You lived with Phil in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, Phil and I were roommates in San Francisco, so he's got even better stories than me because he's much more wild.
I don't know if he's watching still, but I think, yeah, I would love to have hear for it with Phil and have some stories of roommate stories when you guys lived together.
Oh my God. Well, I will just tell you one little note is that we were roommates when Four Loko existed, like the original formula. Do you know what Four Loko was?
No.
It was like a malt liquor beverage with caffeine in it, and it's so good that you don't know, because if you know, you have memory of certain events that happened. So
you have to repeat that.
It's mad. I'm muted.
Maybe I didn't want you to talk about Four Loko.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's exactly what it is.
You're good. I hear you.
Okay, good. Well, fine. Yeah. It was during the Four Loko times.
Of malt liquor with energy,
yeah. It was like, I just remember one time when my sister and I and Phil, we all lived together, and we rode our bikes to the beach in San Francisco, and we drank Four Locos. And then I remember like Lindsay like tackling me into the ocean where all the sharks lived. And then I was like blacked out, and I woke up to that, and then I was gone again. And then I remember coming to as we were like riding bicycles up this 1.5 mile hill. And then I woke up in the backyard at sunset, flat on my back like this.
Nice.
Which is why I really don't drink ever again.
Yeah, no, I have some crazy drinking stories, and it's best that I don't do that anymore.
This was a million lifetimes ago. I am no longer that person.
Yeah, well, you have to. I do feel like I wouldn't be who I am if had I not experienced some darker times. It kind of like all adds to your personality. Speaking of personalities, you want to hear a funny story? Posey asked me today. She wanted to know what her personality was like when she was 2. And I was like, well, you are nothing like Ruby. So I told her all these things, and she's like, and she started to tear up. You know, she's like, she's my emotional sensitive, girl. She's 5, and she's like, well, I think that my personality is still developing. And I was like, what? What did you just say? Isn't that so crazy? Like I don't know, just like, she's like, I think it's still developing. And I was like, yeah. After I like brought myself, like, I was like just so impressed with, she's so like, she's so profound at such a young age. She's aware that, she's becoming who she is. And it was just really cool. And I told her, I was like, yeah, all of our personalities are still developing. And, even mine, I thought I didn't like, knitting, but how many times have I told you how I really want to learn how to cross stitch?
You just got to do it. It's so easy. You can teach yourself.
Yeah, I've dabbled in, like, at one point I took every home ec class there was to take in high school, because did Sarah take a high home ec?
I remember taking it in like 8th grade and making chocolate chip cookies.
Okay. I took like every home ec class there was to take, like the sewing class, the cooking class, the textile class, everything. And so, like, I think it must have been like Posey was like 2 or something. I bought a sewing machine and I signed up for one of those continuing education classes with Hillary. Do you know Hillary from I can never pronounce her last name, but anyway, she was in the class with me. I only went to 2 of them because I don't know, I had Posey at home. And anyway, I really want to do that though. And I think the cross stitch thing, like making words with cross stitch, would be super fun. I mean, I don't know when I would have time to do this, but I'm going to figure it out.
Well, you make time. It's like the kind of thing where if you make time, you get the release from creative activity. Cross stitch is fun. I love making. You know what you would like doing is cross stitching like sassy things.
I would love things. I told you, like, so yesterday when I went out, everyone's like kind of walking, like they're not kind of like, everyone's walking around with a mask on now. Mm-hmm. And I told you this like 2 weeks ago, like, I don't want to walk around with just like a regular looking mask. I want to walk around with a mask that says something funny, or like, it's just so kind of alarming to witness that, and I feel like if that's like a thing that we should be doing to stay safe, I think that there's a way you can add your personality to it, so I want mine to say something like, does this mask make my butt look big? Or I don't know,
make your butt look big.
Just something funny. I mean, like, can't we make it fun? This is like, it is like a serious, scary time that we're all living in, and there is real fear out there about people getting sick. And but I think that it's important to combat that with fun, logic, and flair
and humor. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I am like really lucky because I have a dog, and she's just ridiculous right now. You have children to entertain you, and like Posey says cute things and drive.
Yeah, I mean, she says cute things. She also they also are a lot. It takes like your undivided attention to, like, manage them throughout the day. And yeah, it's a real hardship right now. And I think the other piece that's really hard is that everyone is like dealing with it. So what I worry about is that people don't communicate what is hard and how they're getting through, because they don't want to like add more to someone else. You get what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I think like I am an oversharer, and I will say yes to everything and help everyone. And I know that I'm not the only one in that sense who like wants to help people and like bring some sense of relief and happiness in this new world that we're living in. And I just, I know that I struggle with that. Like currently I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to vent to like anyone about what's so difficult? And, when everyone is literally going through the same thing, I mean, the caveat is that everyone's going through the same thing. So we are more relatable to each other than ever before. And, you know, and it's okay. Just like, let all the struggle hang out, I guess, you know, and kind of connect and collaborate and figure out how we can get up through all of this together.
Yes. And Catherine, I will give you permission to feel all of your feelings, and that you can talk to me or any of the people that you trust about what you're feeling. And there's never any judgment, and there's never any like everyone's feeling bad, so your feelings don't matter. For real. And like, I'm just going to tell it to you straight. You need to find time for self-care.
Yeah,
you're putting a lot of things in front of yourself.
Yeah. You know what else I'm realizing is like the things that I notoriously do for self-care are really difficult to come by right now. You know, I can't go and get a massage. I can't go get my hair done. And we kind of talked about this the other day.
Children, you got to teach them how to give you massages.
I know. I'm gonna have Posey walk on my back tonight.
No, you should get Ruby on it. She's got a lot of energy that she could get out.
Yeah, she screamed. So we're also like, you know, it's a 2-bedroom apartment, 3 kids, all under 5, and all in the same room, and we're doing like sleep training right now. So it's like it's just a little extra stress, you know, and I don't know. It's tough. I think it's important to acknowledge that it's like really, really hard for everyone right now. We're all just trying to get through the day and do what we can to get ourselves through the day, but also our families and our loved ones through the day. And I find the best way to do that is to be of service to people and help people and share, you know, my, you know, kind of like more optimistic, positive outlook on everything. But that in itself can be overwhelming also, you know, like I didn't realize like the facial, the massage, the hair, the nails. I've never like identified that as self-care. I always just identified that as like maintenance. It's like what I have to do to, you know, keep myself looking okay. And this is like totally not just a woman thing. I think it's also a man thing. Like, but they do have it easier because, you know, they can shave their heads.
They are suffering right now. The men need haircuts. They get that shit done like all the time. And they are turning to their friends and family members that they are living with, expecting to look like they done got barbered. There are a lot of hair disasters happening right now, a lot of man buns being cultivated. We need to give some sympathy to these poor men who can't go get their hair cut every 2 weeks like usual. Those poor men. What are y'all gonna have to with you? Poor men. You know, we think that like we're high maintenance. These poor little delicate men that depend on others. We got to send them some love and tell them, don't cut your own hair. Let it grow. You're going to be all right. Cultivate the Bob Ross.
Let it go. Let it go and grow.
Yeah,
man. But yeah, I mean that's also self-care for them. You know, it makes them feel like groomed and neat, and you know, I don't know. It's just we did talk about this the other day, how much of an impact this is making on, you know, just everyone is like having to pivot and having to adapt and evolve. And my biggest takeaway is like I am really trying to be patient with everyone, you know, and not take things personally and not assume I know what anyone's going through, because like how I'm dealing with all this, it could be completely different than another person that doesn't seem to have it as bad. Like no one has it worse or better. It's like we are all in all of this together and everyone's being affected differently. But I don't know, I just think it's important to remind ourselves that, you know, how you show up is not how it may not be exact, it may not look exactly like someone else is going to show up, and you have to give that person like grace and be patient and communicate with them and just make sure that they're being heard. And you know, just for me, it helps me to kind of like pause before, you know, jumping to any conclusions. Even with like Posey, you know, like you know, to tell her that like we're not going to do this today, you know, it breaks her little heart. And it's like, okay, she's going through her own, like this is her own experience, and I'm like, I'm just a blip really in her head, in her whole world. And it's like I need to make sure that that blip is one that is patient and kind and compassionate and thoughtful and supportive of her. And it's just so important to like realize that you are that role for people, and but you also need someone playing that role for you, you know.
Yes.
Why it's important for me to like constantly be in touch with friends and family. And you know, you're always like great with the listen, like you do such an awesome job of listening, giving feedback, sometimes critical, but always
With
from
love.
a place of kindness and support, you know what I mean? And it's just important to, I don't know, I just think it's important to be like that, you know, to everybody.
I agree. Like that's, I just try, like, and I think you and I have the same mentality on that, is that we try to treat people the way we want to be treated. And make that your baseline of like, I want to be, this is how I want people to interact with me. And so this is how I'm going to offer it up to others. If you don't get that kind of feedback, it's easier to handle. And keep gracious, you were saying, and be empathetic and sympathetic and try to make help them. I think it's easier for live conversations. Wait, time.
You're breaking up a bunch.
It's okay.
Try again.
I was just talking nonsense anyway.
Okay, you were just saying, well, so the other thing that I kind of like want to touch on is that you can't be everything to everyone, right? Mm-hmm. Like you have to, and I think that it is really difficult and challenging for, if you're working from home, you're a parent, maybe you have multiple children, you're also a spouse, you're also a partner in business and at home, and it's like, who's going to do the homework and who's going to do this and all that stuff. And so it's really easy to jump into this, like for me, this is what's literally happening right now. I'm jumping into these old habits of like, okay, I'll just do that. Okay, I'll just do that. And I'll do this. And let's do that. And like saying yes to everything. And it's just, you become depleted, burnt out, you know, all of the things that I know happens when I do this, you know. But it's just important to constantly have these tools and resources like available to me to bring me back to like the things that I need to do every day, so that I don't like blow up or like yell, or I don't when I start to show up in a way that I'm like, wait a minute, I'm reverting back, you know. So it's like taking a pause, giving yourself some time between home and work. And like, even if like, for me, I'm using this downstairs apartment as my workspace because pallets, you know, we can't be in there. The cafe's still running, like, and upstairs, I'm very lucky to have like a space that I can come to. But even for me, it's like, I still need to like do a loop around the block before I actually go home, because if not, I take it all home, and I'm at such a different level of energy than everyone else is at home, you know? And then in on the flip side of that, it's like home is like 3 children and Mark and and like keeping them entertained. And it's a lot. And so I personally have just gone back into this, like, you see someone who may need more like support, even at Paint and Sip, you know, like somebody asked to do a paint party at Paint and Sip, and I was like, yes, let's do that. That would be so helpful for people. That would alleviate one of my team members from having to do it, you know. So I just like jumped on that and I did it, and it was great. It filled me up and made me feel so good to be in the studio and painting, and gave me like a break, you know. But it's so important not to get into that cycle of like doing everything, you know. And And that's like what I'm experiencing right now, where it's like I need to put more routine. I need to like be sure that I have like all these things that we talk about all the time, like the meditating. And
yeah. I'm just gonna tell you that Monday through Friday, Palette has a 8 a.m. meditation class, 50 minutes. She's an amazing life coach. And I've been showing up for that for 2 weeks now since she started it. It is absolutely invaluable.
Okay, this is
meditation for stress reduction. 8
a.m. At 8 a.m. So every day at 8 a.m. on, is it through Zoom?
Through Zoom. You go to the palettecafe.com website and you sign up for the class. Once you sign up for one, you're always on the list. You're always able to access the Zoom. And then it's just every day you can show up with Aaron. Where I was like thinking about paths of my life, and like every day is something. It's not the same thing. It's not just one thing. It's you asking questions about who you are and where you are in your life, and immediate stress reduction, immediate preparation for like how to take on this day as the person that you are.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just like, don't wait until you start to have physical symptoms of stress and anxiety, like your fingers tingling or your back is hurting or your chest feels tight. Like, don't wait until you get that far down the path of like overwhelmed and burned and just anxiety and stress. Like, do these things just when everything's perfect, when everything's going great and you're feeling awesome and everything's wonderful. Do it then, just because like it's there for you. And I mean, that is like literally why I created Palette, to be that for people and to share that like we don't have to be everything for everyone. We don't have to do everything for our business, for our families, for our like extended families, for our friends. It's impossible, so you have to start delegating and you have to start planning and organizing and setting goals, and we can do all that. We can help you do that. I'm certainly being helped by it. I don't do everything that I need, like that I used to do for Paint and Sip. I have a great team there. I have a great team at Palette. I'm capable of leaning on other people, and I'm capable of being supported, and I think that when life shit happens, right? You have to rely on these tools that you've been doing or utilizing all along to show up like in a way that is okay. And you don't ever, the point is to not ever feel like out of control.
Right. Well, we as human beings were not designed to feel like shit. Like that is not why we exist. We aren't supposed to feel like crap every day. So you can, like, we all know that there's like a million things we can do to not like to just have a place to start and a little thing to do. That's like nothing is ever as scary as you think it's going to be until it's over. You know what I mean? Like we're always like, we put this fear into like, I'm afraid to do this new thing, or like, I'm going to have to go through this meditation and sit across apples on back to hurt. But none of that is all these like crazy ourselves and keep feeling like shit. It's easy to just keep doing the same thing. But like you said, we have to learn to delegate and find ways to not. I know I'm just going off.
I think maybe this is the other thing that I think a lot of people are dealing with is like they're doing these Zoom calls, Facebook Lives on their residential networks, and they're shitty.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I think, what I think Spectrum should do is just give everybody more bandwidth. That would be so cool.
Guys. Get it together, Spectrum.
Yeah, get it together, Spectrum.
Seriously.
What else? I feel like we need to wrap it up because
let's wrap it up.
I miss you in real life. I can't wait to give you like a real hug.
I know. Well, I do want to say we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up today, and that if anyone who's watching this is not on our mailing list, get on the mailing list. Follow us everywhere on social media, because Catherine, starting today, is doing a 2:00 Instagram live with the viewers. Love it. 4 o'clock today. It's overwhelming because you
You sound like a robot.
I am a robot.
You are a robot. You're a robot with emotion.
Beep, boop.
Beep, boop, beep, boop. Okay, we'll post how people should definitely join our email list because that's where you hear it first, sister. And we're gonna be talking on. I'm gonna chat with Kristen on Instagram today at 2 p.m. and at 4 p.m. It's Get Your Mind Right.
Yep.
Who's
I got a little something special.
Ooh.
Me.
Yes.
And then at 5 today, I have Magic with Marcella, and we're talking about animal magic with Heather.
Cool, like pigeon feathers and shit.
I freaking hope so. Skunk magic.
You know I love birds.
Me too. Today at 5:30 is our first ever virtual happy hour, Glam Pajam.
Glam Pajam. I'm so excited. This is not for members only. This is for the world.
This is for everybody, Glam Pajam.
Okay, so at 5:30, you have to register. You have to RSVP, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so RSVP 5:30 today. Is today Wednesday?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Glam Pajam.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. What kind of pajamas am I gonna wear, and how am I gonna glam them up?
I know, right?
I might have to introduce Posey into the situation, and she can help me with this.
Yeah, you should let Posey style you and see what happens.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I hope she gives me blue eyeshadow. All right, lady. Well, I will see you later at 5:30. Glam Pajam. Virtual happy hour.
Happy hour.
And happy hour doesn't mean a cocktail. If you don't want it to be a cocktail, it can be a mocktail. It can be a cafe. It could be a latte.
Mm-hmm. It can be no drink at all.
It could just be like your happy face.
Mm-hmm. Happy face. Bring it. Glam Pajam. It's just so fun to say.
I think it is fun to say. It's like denim and DMs is fun to say.
Well, that was a good one. We'll have to do that again.
We'll have to do that one again for sure. All right, lady. Thanks for being here for me and here for it and here for everything. And I'll see you later.
Glam Pajam.
Glam Pajam.